Hey, this is Guru Mayer, and we're wrapping up this series called Light in the Shadows. My intention is to bring you some quick 20-minute, 30-minute information and practice that maybe will help you in your day and on your way. And so a little review here in talking about the necessity of going into unpleasantries and things that we don't really like to feel or deal with. But when we ignore those things, they demand to be dealt with, and so they creep up and cause all kinds of other, sometimes subconscious or bad effects that we're not aware of. So we've made a cave diving analogy of going into a dark cave, into thoughts, feelings, issues, communications that are uncomfortable that we might not prefer to do. And so we've talked about, instead of avoidance, the necessity of that. And so this cave diving analogy is to be ready, to equip ourselves, which is, we've been doing little pranayams, little breathing exercises, mindfulness, to help be ready to be clear and be stable and strong. So last time we talked about not going too far into the darkness where you lose perspective. So that would be the opposite of ignoring and repressing issues and emotions that you don't want to deal with. So what we talked about is to be mindfully present in the moment, right? So today I want to talk about the opposite, which is to keep perspective when you're in there dealing with, how idiotically you've treated your partner, and, patterns that you start seeing that you might feel bad about. But that's the necessary dive into seeing it and then clearing it up. Because when you don't see it, it's everybody else does. And this is one reason that we have recurring patterns. Okay, so think about how nature teaches us that if I'm constantly frustrated with some aspect of my life, of my job, of my partner, if I'm constantly sad about something. So a recurring emotional pattern is helping me awaken. Like if I see it often enough, right? If I replay like they do in sports, well, we're not sure if that was in or out, so let's replay it. We have to replay it a bunch of times, and then we go, oh, now I'm clear. Now I see what's happening. And that's a necessary step, right? If it's invisible, we live with it. If it's visible, I might not like it, but then we can start clearing it up. Okay, so something we deal with as a useful tool in yoga quite a bit is to be vast, is to remember the big picture. Okay, so let's start with astronomy. If you look up some astronomy, and just see how big the universe is, how many galaxies and stars there are, and how old it is, and you start for a moment going like, oh my, the fact that I've got this ache or pain, or that I really didn't like what I heard on the news today, takes a different perspective, right? So if you can see, if this problem is all you can see, then that's your whole world, and yeah, it's bad. So if you can keep in perspective, okay, here's my situation, time and space, this moment, this issue, this feeling. Okay, but I can also see there's a whole lifespan, there's humanity, there's the whole world out there. That tends to be very calming. And that's a lot of what we do in yoga, again, that we expand. And so we're going to do just a little practice today to help you do that. It'll be about 11 minutes, so I think we'll be in and out of this class in 20 minutes. And you can go about your day, and I hope again that you can do it with a little more lift, okay? And then we're going to start a series on very specific pieces of the shadow, very specific emotions and things that trouble us. So that'll be coming up next week. So, ready to practice? All right, here we go. The mudra is like this. You're going to put your thumb over your small finger, Mercury we call it, communication, and make this mudra like this. And then you hold them near the heart center. All right, nothing hard so far. In this practice, I want you to lean back about 30 degrees. You'll feel your core start engaging, right? Oh, am I going to fall back? All right, my legs lift up a little to balance me. So now I'm engaged in the core. You don't have to start yet. So this does something to your inner ear to make you alert, and it also keeps your body in a sort of a readiness, right? Now, the head doesn't fall back. We keep the head lined up with the rest of the spine, and you're supporting yourself with a light neckline, okay? The eyes will be closed, but it's as if you're looking up. So, ready to do that? We're going to go through three or four phases of this. Let's start the first part. So, our time is 7 minutes in. Let's go. All right. So, join with me. Don't just watch. This is not a spectator sport, okay? So, close your eyes and settle in. Be aware of your lower core. It's fired up and got you alert and ready. Now, pay attention to your heart center. So we're opening the heart center to the vastness, and we've got this communication mudra here. So we want to both communicate with infinity and be receptive to it. So your hands are in a receptive position. Good, all right. Now I'll ask you to keep breathing nice and slow and also relate to the top of your head. So you've got like a beam going out from your navel, another one from your heart center, and another one from your third eye. From the top of your head, and you're beaming out, and that beam is a two-way beam. You can bring it back in as well. All right, so that's the first minute, okay? Now, politely, stick out your tongue. Call it lion pose, where the tongue goes way down and out. And you're breathing through the mouth. Your tongue is a muscle too, and in yoga we work with the muscles, so stretch that lovely tongue that helps you talk and taste and eat and swallow, and stick your tongue out when you're mad. Stick it out now, but okay, and breathe across the surface of the tongue. This is for another minute. These wonderful practices, just ancient kriyas, let them do their job. Just do your best. Okay, so now we got a lot going on. Hand position, mudra, focusing as we're leaning back, engaging, shooting energy and receiving energy from our centers, and tongue out. And now the final addition, begin a panting dog breath across this stretched out tongue. Sounds just like a dog on a hot day, right? This may be a little faster than you usually do breath of fire, okay? A panting breath. Open the throat big and wide, open up, breathe, okay? And this will be 6 minutes, so come on, you can do it, and it's gonna give you a nice effect of expansion. So your little, they're not little to you, but compared to the sun and the galaxies, yes, they're nothing too earth-shattering. So we're just keeping it in perspective, right? So, okay, let's go. Move the breath from the diaphragm down low. Hold the chest steady. If any part of this thing is just too hard, keep doing what you can, right? You can keep the fingers there. Maybe you can't lean back the whole time. Maybe the breath's getting a little tough, but keep as many of these elements going as you can, and including just your engagement, just your like, hey, I'm here and I'm doing my best, and right? Okay. 4 minutes, let's do it. We're leaning back 30 degrees. Good. Now, in these last few minutes, if you can, you've got this down and it's not easy, but you're doing what you're doing. Okay. So now, see if you can take your focus away from you, right? Oh, me and my back and my breath. And it's important, it's precious, it's the most important thing in the world, but can you shift outside of meanness? Meanness to vastness. Just so open yourself, bring in that prana across the tongue, and go from me to thou. Thou, whatever. In other words, capital T, capital I, itness, suchness, vastness, everything, allness. Shift your focus, your concern from inside to outside. Maybe even so you disappear for a moment. Transcendence, right? Transcendence. So just a couple more minutes. Breathe strong. We're going to have a nice little wrap up to this. 2 more minutes. Keep that tongue stretching. And then forget yourself. Go out. Leave the mothership for a moment and be with the Divine Mother. Mother, Father, universe, however you relate to all that there is, all and nothing. Good, just 2 minutes, come on. You may be entering into an exalted phase where you feel like, oh, yeah, I forgot myself for a minute and now I feel great, I feel strong. That won't be everybody's experience, but if you practice this every day for a while, I think you would get there. And some of you are there now, just starting to feel like, I'm vast. So going now, connecting the inner and the outer, right? Like, wow. That power that I'm recognizing out there, I feel it in here, right? We could call that the God in me. Yeah. So if you can spend this last minute just relishing that energy, that power, that sense of oneness, and that oneness is not small. It is all. It's beautiful. All right? 45 seconds. Keep going. And let's finish just beautifully strong. Cross the finish line and celebrate 30 seconds. Good, entering the finish line, be ready to finish. We're gonna stay leaning back, please. Inhale deeply and hold your opposite shoulders in a nice hug. Grab outside the shoulder and hold. Inhale, you're holding the breath, you're still leaning back, now you're just open, open, open. Or projecting out, receiving in through all centers, all the way up and down, heart, third eye, top of the head. Stay in the position, exhale. Inhale deeply. Now lean back, open up the heart and the head and the mind and the soul to soul connection. Lean forward slightly and exhale. One more time, let's do it. Inhale. Leaning back. How sweet it is. Now exhale gently. Come into an upright position, hands down comfortably in the lap. And just be. Be you, but not the little you. Be the all and everything. You and universe as one. Now from your empowered and lofty view here, hold that view. Lofty, powerful, just deserving, just part of it all. And if you will, look down into the vast deeps below you. Down there is the trouble, the shadow, the problems that you sometimes have and dwell in. But don't let them just overtake you. Keep your vast perspective and see them, yes, important, but not everything. And that there is a balance. You can keep that balance. Going through, doing what you gotta do, but with the backing, right? The whole universe backing you up. Giving you strength, giving you hope, and whatever you need to get through it. All right. You may continue to keep your eyes closed and enjoy it. I'll just give a few closing remarks. This was just 1 plus 1 plus 6.5. 8.5 minutes, 9 minutes, plus a little enjoyment at the end, 11 minutes. If it helped, do this or something like it as often as you need it. Regularly, daily as a charge up, in the middle of the day if you need it. And then when you establish that link, like when you used to yeah, your internet connection. Once it's strong and stable, and you can just play away, right? So if you can keep this regularly visited connection, keep it familiar, then you don't lose the connection. It's there, you know, when you need it, when you remember it. It's also there as a constant. It becomes part of you to maintain you. So that's what we wanted to share with you today, keeping perspective when you deal with the shadow. So the next series will be diving in. So I hope this has prepared you and that you'll be ready to do some digging around and seeing if I can help you through some very specific issues in the coming weeks. So thanks very much, and Sat Nam. We'll see you next time.